Welcome back, survivors. I'm the Survivalvis, and we return to Carnivores Genesis, where yes, I am going to keep the sensitivity to nothing, because last week at the end of it, I admit I was struggling through it, so I want to see how big of a difference this actually makes, because if you guys have been fans of the Carnivore series, you would have seen that Jurassic Park Hunter Legends, I've actually had at about maybe a quarter to a little less than a quarter sensitivity, and that's still been rather sensitive for some animals. And then Carnivores Plus we tucked down to about a quarter of the way, and even that seemed maybe a little sensitive still, but this will kind of give us our complete flat line of how insensitive is no sensitivity on the animals. So we are going to be going to the Ruins of Atar once more, because we only just saw that last week. And we'll turn on double ammo. I'm going to take those off, just as a flat test to see. And what do we want to go after? Well, we did have a request, not from last week's episode, but the week before that, to see using the C1 rifle against some Utah raptors. So we can easily do that. We've actually got quite a few points to keep going with. So maybe we'll get the... we'll take the Expo, and we'll do these three. Because the Expo I haven't used that much as well. So this might be a good way to show off these stronger weapons, everything compared. And then we still have... yeah, we don't even have the point total to see something like the Rex Wrecker double barrel shotgun, so we definitely have a lot of points to earn up, but we also have a lot of maps to go through and see too. So we'll head back into Vatar, Tranks on for the points, and let's go on this hunt and see how we do with the 0 sensitivity in the settings. Okay, so we're all loaded in here now. Let's see, just a couple of Gallimimus going about. Yeah, so the C1 is our first option, and then there's the Crossbow. And it started us right on the main line, which is nice, although I gotta admit, there's something peculiar on the map. It's almost as if the map has a pimple over to the west, so I'm guessing that's maybe something like a volcano, perhaps, or maybe even a mountain with snow. I want to head over just to get a little look and see, because that really stands out as a bit of an oddity from looking at the overhead. I mean, I don't see the potential snow yet, and I honestly don't know if we'd... oh, well, hello. You're not exactly on the roster, but you might cause us problems if we don't do anything about you. God, that is so satisfying using the C1 rifle. I do have to admit, I love the... oh, yeah, okay, so it is just snow-covered peak. I was trying to figure out exactly why that was so different compared to everything else, but I love the C1 rifle, and just a rifle that is precise and powerful. I think one of the things about playing so many of the Carnivores mods is that sometimes, well, actually, it's just Carnivores in general, because you don't get the rifles until later into the game, you don't really feel their punch until you finally get to play around with them a bit, and once you get them, you really wish you had them so much earlier. That's one of the things I really love, is just a very strong bolt-action rifle. It's sort of the lineup where if you miss that first shot, because of the time it might take for you to pop out the shell for a bolt action, it kind of is like a turn-based, where you take your turn, you shoot, you miss, you lost your turn. Now, the animal has the turn to either start coming towards you, or can go running off from you. So it kind of makes it feel a little more, I guess sporting might be the best kind of term for it, or at least more balanced and fair for what you're hunting. Okay, so the wind is going to take us along the river here, so I guess we might as well just do that. Yeah, we'll probably do that, because the wind is coming in from the northwest. So maybe what we can do is we can follow this down along the trail, well, follow the river a ways, and once we're down to that little bottom area, we can always start going upwards through the island again. So we'll go along with that. See what we can find. We don't have that much on the roster, though we will have to be careful of the Utah raptors. They aren't the fastest little things, but because of their size, they may be a little difficult to target and get those shots in. We'll have to see once we actually stumble across any, or if any stumble across us. So we'll just do a little bit of a walk. And what was it? I believe it was just yesterday that Saurian target action... oh, hang on. No, just the moss chops. I just saw the little bit of gray and thought maybe it was like Utah. Saurian Target just put up a video that I really enjoyed where it was kind of like the celebratory milestone of Carnivore's first release 22 years ago. To think that the game and the series is 22 years old now, and in my opinion, we still haven't actually seen anybody who's really put out a suitable rival to what Carnivores has put out right now. Because there are some things that I think you can kind of see some people trying, but they haven't gotten the same systems that even Carnivores had in place. Those are things like the mortal zones on the animals, like how you have to use cover and wind direction and factor those things into play in order to go after the animals. Mostly right now, there are attempts at the kind of feel, but they feel like they're lacking more of the hunting elements that Carnivores had with it. And thinking about that, I don't know if you could translate a lot of like Carnivore stylings forward. Because one of the things about Carnivores is a lot of its looks. Like, the animals and the games all focus on a certain paleo-artist art style. And if you were to bring that more modern-wise, I think it would look kind of weird with like the detail and just how good models and things can look these days. I think you might have I shouldn't say next Carnivores, but if somebody does try to develop something to rival or be sort of like a follow-up to Carnivores, it'd be more so in spirit than actually riding along with all of the Carnivores is set up right now. And I don't think that's a bad thing at all. I think we really could actually be due for... Let me just call... I think we are well past due time for a proper dinosaur hunting game. And I feel like the individual pieces exist in other games. It's just that nobody has brought them all together to make up what my imagination or my imaginings for what the final product would be. Bingo, we got a reply. So we're going to head over that way. Some just some moss chops over there. And thankfully we do have the wind aiding us, so that's nice. And then back to the Saurian Target video, which started that little talk. I also did like just him hanging out and like no pressure to really show off or do a lot. Just enjoying Carnivores and being out on a casual hunt. I think even small videos like that, which might not need a lot of editing or too much super concentrated effort into them, might be a really good thing for his channel to put up more of. Just, it gives him a chance to be able to enjoy more Carnivores and gives... Oh, there you are. Yeah, sensitivity... See, I actually think it's at a good spot right now. It's like, he was on the other side of a tree, so we weren't able to exactly see him. But I feel like with, like, the closer range weapons, like shotguns or that... We're still getting good ranges where you can actually still feel it's hunting, but not too overboard, where you kind of feel necessary to use a camouflage and a cover scent. That's one of the things I disliked most about having the higher sensitivities, is those modifiers almost felt like a necessity in order to play. Oh, hey little buddy, you coming over to say hi? We kinda put your friend to sleep there. So we'll just leave that little moss chops on his way. And what else can we go after? Well, I mean, the first Cineraptor we got was just collateral in order to kind of keep ourselves safe. So maybe we'll see about a Parasaur. Ooh. Okay, we did get a reply in this direction, so it's probably going to be hard to spot it. But look at this, like, just gazing into this. The maps in Genesis have been great, and this just gives you so much of this primordial forest feel where there could be any dinosaurs lurking in that mist down below. That's one thing that I don't think the Redux of Genesis really needs to touch at all, are the maps. I think they are absolutely fine just to be almost like a back burner to focus efforts on other things. But now we gotta try to navigate through all these trees and see where we can spot the Parasaur. It's going to be a little tough because, again, this area is, well, it's both hilly and it's heavily vegetated. And the thing is, it's not like the Fallen King's vegetation, where it's just, like, so much abundant that you can't really see through, and the dinosaurs can. like, I think the best kind of wording for it was what a commenter came. Godix mentioned it. They're ghost trees or ghost foliage, where they might exist and they block your vision, but for most intents and purposes, you can shoot through them, dinosaurs see you through them. They're... Oh, there you are. Yeah, I just caught the little splash of color from it. That's another thing. I really do like this almost like spinner dolphin texture that the parasaurs have. It makes them very distinct and stand out. That color scheme works really well. Oh yeah, see? This is where I think the sensitivity is a good spot, because the wind wasn't pushing it to us, so it might have saw us through the canopies of the trees or something else, but we still have to be careful on the approach. It's not like they're completely insensitive to us. You still have to be a little more careful, so if anybody is feeling a little self-conscious on whether they should play carnivores at lower sensitivities or that they don't want to play it on easy mode, don't be afraid to adjust or dial that sensitivity to where you feel is right for you. It's definitely something where you should just embrace the experience more than whether the settings feel right or not. No, settings feel, isn't it? Don't be ashamed if you have to play on easy mode. I'm easy mode right here, and from all the Carnivore series I have done, I will handily admit, I cannot be as good as some of the pros or the most veteran and experienced with the game. I definitely am going to be dialing the sensitivity back on all of the mods, because it feels like there's a little better back and forth on the animals and how they interact with you. Okay, the call came from the south, so I don't want to go straight that direction because of the wind, so I think what I'm going to do is work at trying to go a bit more southeast and try to get it so that way maybe we're going to be more directly beside or to the west of it. Now, it's hard to say if we'll actually manage that and whether I'll have the clear way to be able to go through with how the labyrinth of trees are, but we'll try and see. Oh, excuse me. You can tell this is my first recording of the day because I guess all the respiratory system that is working out with a few little bubbles and hiccups here or there. But we'll just go along, see if we can figure out how we can get a nice shot in for this parasaur. And I think, using the crossbow, I think it'll only take one shot to down it. That's one thing that... It feels a little weird going back and forth. It's basically, if you don't use the Mortal Zone mods, well, or a mod that uses Mortal Zone, such as Genesis or Mandibles, you're going to definitely feel the weapons have like a power scale and power levels to them. And when you do get up towards the higher end game, like we have with the Carnivores, you might just not have the appropriate power level available unless you can get up the points for a higher rank weapon. Whereas with the Mortal Zones, you can get away with a little more because you don't have... The Mortal Zones are kind of a finicky thing. If the main health of the dinosaur is too high, you still feel this power scaling if you can't hit those zones. But if the zones... But the health isn't quite high enough, it's, I think, a little more balanced. That way it's not a super heavy punishment for not landing those shots. No, no reply now. Maybe we went too far. Okay, well, we're going to head back this way, because I think this was the direction the parasaur seemed to have called from. We'll try to get that, and then we'll focus our efforts onto a Utah raptor. But the best kind of example I could say for whether the animals have, like, too much health compared with the Mortal Zone might be Jurassic Park Hunter Legends. Peculiar. Because that one, I feel, is where you really are punished if you don't get that Mortal Zone. I feel it should be more a case where if you hit the Mortal Zone, okay, it's a one-hit drop, understandable, but it shouldn't take you an entire clip of ammo missing the Mortal Zone and just landing body hits before the animal goes down. It's sort of... It kind of brings me back to the issue I've had with some carnivores, where if you want to practice and get better, that should mean more time out in the field. But if you can only take, like, a single animal down with all that ammunition, That's not more time in the field. That's more... You still only practice the one time rather than being able to squeeze in multiple possible animals on a hunt. There we go. And it is to the west, so we should be okay to... We are crouching right now, so we should be able to kind of sneak up a little better this time around. I did see the parasaur just for... Oh, and a Utah over this way. So I might have to actually keep the C1 ready instead of the crossbow. But with the sea of trees here, it's not going to be easy to exactly get those shots lined up. Although it actually looks like they... Well, this is odd. They basically are appearing right around where we had taken down the Sin Raptor and started following the river up. I almost want to say I scared them into this area, but I don't really know that for sure. Okay, well this is a bit of a nicer open clearing, but I don't see them coming up on through binocular sense, or I guess whatever sensors the binocular use. Binoculars. Okay, but I hear something munching nearby. I think it might just be a Moss Chops or something. Oh, it might just be that Gallimimus. Yeah, this is the feel that I think carnivores, if there's anybody who has to follow up, is they have to try to match this feeling of really being... Okay, it's actually over this way more. We can actually hear the Sin Raptor sleeping all the way from over here. Okay, I was really not expecting this. I guess I should have called a bit earlier. Okay, so I can see the Gallimimus way out there. And it seems like that might be the direction that we need to focus on for the parasaur that we've been calling. Yeah, there's the snoozing Sin Raptor. Okay, that Utah's kind of not closing in super... Okay, there it is all the way over there. So there is some distance between us and it. I'm actually surprised how much the wind has died down, too. Like, I'm pretty sure the length of the arrow will kind of describe how strong the wind is. So right now, it's basically just a little tiny nub. Okay, where the heck is this parasaur? Because it feels like we passed it now again. Okay, well, we might not be able to get the parasaur, but we'll try for this Utah, because it is right there. Okay, I want to stop moving and see if we can bring it in closer. I'd like to try to get it within the 200-meter mark. He seems to want to stick to hiding behind the trees there. There you go. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah. Well, this is a little cheap, but we will take it because we could use the points. But yeah. No sensitivity. 200 meters away, it saw and was rushing for us. So that does show you... Really don't feel worried if you have to adjust the sensitivity on the animals. Oh, wait, what? Did we actually make that shot? Holy crap, we did. I could kiss this rifle. Mwah! I love a shot like that. And that's where I really love when the weapons are precise to the sighting. Just makes you feel good when you can line up and those hits pay off for you. Okay, so we've gotten ourselves the entire roster. I really shouldn't be greedy, but I am going to try calling another Utah. Okay, no reply, so I'm not too surprised at that, to be honest. Oh, actually... it is cheap, but I gotta admit, I gotta make up for some ground with some of the episodes where we haven't been able to get any points in. Okay, I'm hoping it is only one, because I'm not sure. That might have actually been two over there. Yeah, there you are. So it's at 200. There we go. God, I love how precise that is. And it's not even that it has, like, a scope or anything on it. It's just that it's truly lined up to what you see with the iron sights. That is such a satisfying weapon. Yeah, so I think this experiment was quite the success. I could see you getting even closer using the camouflage and the cover scent on, but they don't feel like a mandatory thing this hunt where you would have really need them just to get yourself lined up and get some shots in. And I think this was actually probably one of my better hunting just in general as well, because it wasn't so much that everything kept running off or we just see it and it goes sprinting away. It feels a little more dynamic. Knowing Kyle, sir, we'll try for a parasaur just to kind of wrap things up, and if not, then we'll probably end here. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I didn't think we'd hear anything back. I think for the most part, we probably had our outing in our time about for what we could get. Yeah, all three, no replies, so we're going to head back with this, and what a nice little hunt that actually was today. I feel proud of that. Okay, so we're back here in the main menu. You can see we shot up to 491, which isn't bad. Now, it doesn't mean we've super unlocked all that much, although we actually could try using the sniper rifle out for something. Now, we've gone after the Utah Raptor. I could even try, like, the trike and a few other animals. All other animals. On Vitar again. I think one more of Vitar, and then we'll go into Morbizad Swamp. But yeah, if you guys aren't sure if you should lower sensitivity, do so. It will make the game much more enjoyable for you and let you feel like you actually get the opportunity to line up and try shooting an animal. So thank you guys very much for joining me on this episode of Carnivores Genesis. If you do like the series, be sure to give it a like. And if you have any comments, tips, tricks, or requests of what you would like to see, be sure to leave them right down below in the comments. I always try to respond to any feedback or questions as soon as I can on the channel. Until I see you all next episode, though, survivors, please remember, as always, to take care and stay alive.